Welcome to Fearless in Faith, the podcast where we explore stories of courage, faith, and God's unshakable love. I'm your host, Esther, and I want to start today's episode by thanking each and every one of you for the overwhelming response to our previous episodes. Your heartfelt messages, emails, and reviews have been truly humbling. We've heard from listeners across the globe who've shared how these stories of faith have inspired them to hold on to God during their own struggles. It's incredible to see how God is using these testimonies to touch lives and draw hearts closer to Him. Today, we're diving into a deeply moving topic, trusting God through loss. Loss is one of the hardest valleys we walk through in life, but it's also where we can experience the depth of God's comfort and peace. Joining us is a truly remarkable guest, Maria Thompson. Maria is a widow and a mother of two who faced the heartbreaking loss of her husband unexpectedly. Despite her grief, she has found strength in her faith and is here to share her journey with us. Maria, thank you so much for being here today. Your willingness to share your story is a blessing to us all. Let's dive into your powerful testimony.
Thank you, Esther. I'm honored to be here, and I hope my story can offer hope and encouragement to someone who might be going through a similar situation. My husband Jacob was my best friend, my partner in everything. We had been married for 12 years and were raising two beautiful children, Ethan and Grace, who were 10 and 6 at the time. Jacob was a devoted father, full of life and laughter. But then everything changed. It was a typical morning. Jacob kissed me goodbye, told the kids he loved them, and left for work. Just an ordinary day, or so I thought. A few hours later, I got a call from the police. There had been an accident. Jacob's car had been hit by a truck on the highway, and he didn't make it. At first, I couldn't even process the words. I remember falling to my knees, crying out, "No, God, this can't be happening." My entire world felt like it had crumbled in an instant. The days that followed were a blur of tears, numbness, and overwhelming grief. I had to face the reality of life without Jacob while trying to be strong for Ethan and Grace. They were devastated, and I didn't know how I was going to make it through. In the weeks after Jacob's passing, I found myself sinking into despair. The nights were the hardest. When the kids were asleep, I would sit alone in our room, surrounded by Jacob's things, and cry until I had no more tears left. I felt abandoned by God, like He had taken away the one person I couldn't live without. One night, I hit my breaking point. I knelt by my bed and cried out to God, "Why? Why did you take him? How am I supposed to do this alone?" I poured out all my anger, sadness, and fear. And in that moment, something incredible happened. I didn't hear an audible voice, but I felt this overwhelming sense of peace wash over me. It was as if God was wrapping His arms around me, saying, "You're not alone, I'm here." That was the turning point for me. From then on, I clung to God like never before. I started spending time in prayer every morning, pouring out my heart to Him. I would read scriptures that reminded me of His promises, like Psalm 34:18. "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." I also began to involve Ethan and Grace in this journey of faith. We would pray together every night and read Bible stories that reminded us of God's love and faithfulness. I didn't have all the answers, but I wanted my children to know that even in the midst of our pain, God was still with us. One thing that helped me immensely was leaning on my church community. They brought meals, prayed for us, and even helped with the kids when I felt overwhelmed. It was a reminder that God places people in our lives to be His hands and feet. I'd be lying if I said it was easy. There were still days when the grief felt unbearable. I missed Jacob at every family dinner, every school event, and every holiday. I would look at my children and feel the weight of raising them without their father. But in those moments of doubt and sadness, I kept going back to God. I realized that trusting Him didn't mean I wouldn't feel pain. It meant I could take my pain to Him and trust that He would carry me through it.
Maria, your testimony is truly incredible. Thank you for sharing so honestly and vulnerably about your journey. It's amazing to see how God met you in your darkest moments and carried you through in ways only He can. Maria, it's incredible to hear how God provided for you financially, emotionally, and spiritually during such a challenging time. What would you say to someone who is struggling to see God's hand in their own tragedy? How can they begin to trust that God is working, even when the pain feels overwhelming?
Looking back now, I can see how God worked in my life through this tragedy. He provided for us in ways I couldn't have imagined. Financially, He opened doors for me to work part-time and still be there for my kids. Emotionally, He surrounded me with people who loved and supported us. Spiritually, He deepened my faith. Losing Jacob taught me to rely on God completely. It's not that I've stopped missing Jacob. I think about him every day, but I've found a peace that only God can give. I've also learned to cherish every moment with my children. We've created new traditions and found joy in the little things. And through it all, I've been able to point them to Jesus, showing them that even in our darkest moments, God's love never fails. To anyone listening who is grieving right now, I want to tell you this. It's okay to feel broken. It's okay to cry and question and even get angry with God. He can handle it. But don't push Him away. Let Him into your pain. One verse that carried me through was Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. God is close to the brokenhearted, and He will walk with you through your grief. You may not see it now, but healing is possible. It doesn't mean forgetting your loved one. It means finding a way to live with hope, knowing that God has a plan for your life.
Maria, your story is such a powerful reminder that even when life feels shattered, God is present, providing, healing, and giving us strength to move forward. I love how you said that healing doesn't mean forgetting, but finding hope and peace in God while honoring the memory of your loved one. It's inspiring to hear how you've leaned into your faith, embraced your role as a mother, and allowed God to shape your story into one of hope and resilience. I know your words are going to resonate with so many listeners today, especially those who are walking through their own seasons of loss. Thank you, Maria, for your courage and for being a testament to God's unshakable love.
Thank you, Esther. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share my story. My prayer is that it reminds someone out there that you are not alone. God sees your pain, and He will carry you through it, just like He carried me.
Maria, thank you once again for sharing your powerful story with us. Your journey of trusting God through loss is a testament to His faithfulness, even in the midst of heartache. I know your words have touched so many hearts today, including mine. To our listeners, if you're walking through a season of loss, please remember that you are not alone. God sees your pain, and He is with you every step of the way. As Maria beautifully shared, healing doesn't mean the absence of grief. It means experiencing God's peace and presence even in the brokenness. Before we close, I want to leave you with this reminder from Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Thank you for joining us on Fearless in Faith. If this episode encouraged you, please share it with someone who might need it. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories of hope and faith. Until next time, may God bless you and give you peace. Stay fearless in faith.